Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Savannah Lion Games in Pooler, Georgia, where I'm about to fight a 500-point boarding action game from the new Orks of Omen Abaddon book between my Sisters of Battle and Harris's Orks. So the story that we've got going on here is that this is an Imperial ship that has been transporting these Sisters of Battle into a war zone, and they ran into an Ork raiding party on the way. The Orks have then decided to board the ship and see what they could loot from the Imperial cruiser and get away with as they slaughter whoever wants to come and bring them a fight and gather all of their loot that they can. And the sisters have decided to move down into the lower portions of this deck to try to fend off these boarding parties of orcs that have come aboard here. So that's the story that we got going on. We are going to be playing the boarding action mission Access Junction Primus. And essentially there are 4 objectives on the table, right in the middle of the 4 junctions of this board here. The board is all set up using basically it's 2 halves of the Into the Dark terrain that you have here, but I think they're coming out with a box set where you can buy the 2, and it's just basically 2 kill team sets put together onto the table here. And they give you specific instructions for some of these missions on how to set it up and everything that goes along with it. So you have those before. Yeah, so you have all 4 of those objectives that are on there. And essentially, at the end of each player's command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each of the following conditions they satisfy to a maximum of 15 victory points. They control 1 or more objective marker, they control 2 or more objective markers, and they control more objective markers than their opponent controls. We then have a secondary, that's called Capture the Junction is the objective. And then we have Purge the Ship, which is at the end of the game. If you have managed to kill, if you have killed a total of 125 points or more of your opponent's army, you get 15 points for each of the following. So a maximum of 45 for this. 15 if you do 125 or more, another 15 if you do 250 or more, and then another 15 if you do 375 or more. So basically, we are just in for a fight here, repelling the invaders as they come along, and just trying to get them away. Or, as the case of the Orks might be, coming onto the ship, trying to kill as many people that come down with a good fight, and then grabbing the loot. So, that is the story. That is the mission. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the 2 boarding parties that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Sisters of Battle, my boarding patrol detachment will consist of a 10-sister Battle Sister squad. We have a 5-sister Dominion squad. We have a 9-sister Repentia squad. And last but not least, we have a 10-sister Sacrosanct squad. And for the Orks, his boarding patrol will consist of a war boss in mega armor. We have 2 10-man squads of boys. We have a 5-orc squad of flashgits. And last but not least, we have a 3-orc squad of mega knobs. So going over deployment now, it's important to point out how deployment kind of works. When you start mustering your army, you can take either units of 5, or if you have a unit whose minimal number of models in a unit is 5, but can have more, you can have a max of 10. So you can have 5 or 10. You can't have any number in between. If a unit has a minimum number of models that's less than 5, you can only take a minimum squad there. You can also only ever take 1 of each type of elite unit, so you can't take 3 different units of Terminators as your elite choices, and the way it all works out. And except for an exception, in all of these, there's exceptions to the rules for each of the different factions. For instance, you can take, in the boarding patrol, you can take 0 to 1 HQs, 0 to 3 troops, 0 to 3 elites. But for instance, for my sisters, I'm allowed to take 1 fast attack option as long as that option is a Dominion squad, which I have done. And for the Orks, they can take 1 heavy support choice as long as it's a flashgits unit. So they have specific options to give you access to kind of the things that make sense in a boarding action for the different things. Check the muster data slate that is available for download on the Warhammer community website. You can check it out there. But essentially, once you get to the point where you're going to start deploying, you have to break down all units of 10 into 2 units of 5. Or with the Repentia, you can have a unit of 4 or a unit of 9. And if you have the 9, you make it into a 5 and a 4 sister unit. But you break them into half, essentially, and you have them as basically become 2 different units. So basically, every unit in the game now has combat squads. And you have to combat squad, unless it says not to combat squad. So, for instance, like cultists, I know when I saw that they don't combat squad. Same thing with poxwalkers, like you don't combat squad them either, or boarding patrol them or whatever it is. Essentially, most units you're going to be splitting into. Yeah, if you have 10. You're going to cut them into combat squads of 5 each. Then you have to place them onto specific, basically loading areas, for use of a better term, on the deployment zone. So, for instance, for us, we have 4 each that are in the specific squares on the board that you have here. And then with those, you can place 1 unit on each, alternating back and forth as you deploy, and then everything else is going to be in reserves. And the way the reserves work, you don't pay any CP to put them in reserves. Everything has to be in reserves. But starting on turn 1, at the end of the movement phase, you can place a unit into each unoccupied boarding zone that you have there, that you can have them on there, and you start putting them down there. So even starting in turn 1. So for instance, what we're going to be doing is all 4 of these units will move out of their out of the boarding zone that they're in, and then I can put a new unit down there at the end of the movement phase, and you just keep doing that as you go on. But any unit that is not on the board by the end of the 4th turn is considered dead. So you got to put them out there. You can hold them back, but you can put as many as you have empty boarding zones. But for instance, if these Repentia, for whatever reason, decided to stand there and it came to the end of my movement phase and they were still there, I wouldn't be able to put a new unit in that boarding zone because it's already occupied by another unit. So it's clogged. They're just taking up the space in the door they can't get through. The new unit can't get through. But we will go over deployment now, just as I was getting that out there. So I have a 5 sister Repentia squad over in this deployment here. I've got 5 of the Sacrosands here, 5 Sacrosands here, and then I have 5 sisters from my Battle Sister squad over in that one. So in reserve, I have my Dominion squad, the other half of my Battle Sister squad, and then the other half of my Repentia squad. Going over deployment now for the Orks. We've got half of one of his squad of boys over here. We got the Flash Gits, we've got the Mega Knobs, and we have another half of one of his boy squads. So he has his War Boss. He's got, and the 2 other halves of the boy squads are going to be in reserve for now. So that's it. That's deployment. So we are now going to roll off to see who goes first. I rolled a 1. My opponent rolled a 6. So we will come back to you after movement phase for the Orks here on turn number 1. All right, movement phase here for the Orks on turn number 1. The first squad moved up to the door over here, and then at the end of their movement phase, they did the action to open the door and open the hatch, and the hatchway was opened at the end of the movement phase there. His Flash Gits moved up onto the objective over here, and then did the action set to defend, or set to overwatch. Essentially what happens is they are, now they can move into that position, and you do that action at the end of your movement phase, and what it allows them to do is fire overwatch at a unit that finishes any kind of move, charge move, advance move, normal move, get set up from reserves. At the end, you choose a unit one time when they finish that move. You can then shoot at them, and using the usual Overwatch rules of hitting on 6s. So right now, there's no access to a stratagem to Overwatch, so the only way that you can Overwatch is by doing this. So you can do it at the end of the charge phase after they move, but only if you do this action there. So,
and once you've used this Overwatch, you can't do it again until you take the action.
Yes, and once you've done it, it's popped, and you can't do it again. So you can't do it at every unit that moves through. You can't do it if you do it on someone who moved and then someone charges you. You can't shoot the Overwatch then either. Once you've done it, you've used it, and that's it. So you get one chance to try to Overwatch at some point during your opponent's turn, essentially. And again, hitting on 6s. But because of the way the line of sight works, that he couldn't see anybody because he was being blocked by like some of these all the walls that were in the way there. They get in the way, and you're not able to see them, so he wasn't able to get off any shots from there.
So might as well get some shooting.
May as well do something, exactly. Then the Mega Knobs advanced up the board over here. These boys moved up to the door and did the action to open the door, which finished at the end of the movement phase. And then reserves, he brought in the rest of his 3 units into those places. So that's going to be it for the movement phase for the Orks, and that's actually the end of his turn here on turn number 1. So we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Sisters of Battle here on turn number 1. Movement phase for the Sisters of Battle here on turn number 1. I moved up to the door here and opened the hatchway with my Repentia. Did the same over there with the half of the Battle Sister squad that was in this side. Both of these Sacrosands advanced up the board. This one onto the objective here because you have to be within an inch of the there. And then from reserves, in came the Dominion squad, the other half of the Battle Sister squad, and then my other Repentia squad back over on this side. So that's it for the movement phase. I did open the 2 doorways with the actions, didn't do anything else. But now, because I've finished my move over here, my opponent has declared that he is going to fire Overwatch with his flash kits. So it's going to be, what, 15 shots here,
15
right?
shots hitting on 6s.
15 shots hitting on 6s because of Overwatch.
I hit you once.
Hit me once. There we go. Better
All
better than not being able to hit anything.
I wound.
Wound with a 4. It's AP -2.
Yep.
The Sacrosands have a 2-up armor save and a 4-up invul save. So 4-up is the number that I'm going with over here. And I make it with a 4. Woo! All right, so that's going to be it for the Sisters of Battle turn here on turn number 1. And so that's just the way it is. So at the end of turn 1, the score is actually 0-0 right now because you don't score until your command phase, and you couldn't have been on the objectives just the way they're placed there to score any. So we will come back to you after movement phase for the Orks here on turn number 2. All right, movement phase for the Orks here on turn number 2. Lots of units are advancing here. No Wa were declared, so no Wa this turn. Wa not declared. It war not declared. It were not declared. Over here, he's got his 2 boys squads that advanced up the board here. They did advance, and at the end of their move, they did perform the open hatchway, operate hatchway action. So normally, if you advance, you're not allowed to do any actions, but it specifies in operate hatchway that you can perform this action as long as there's no other units, that you're not in engagement range of anybody, even if you're under a rule that would prevent you from doing actions. It's specifically, I can imagine that it's specifically to allow you to advance and open a hatchway. So basically, these guys,
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. They just basically ran up the door and kicked it in as they were just coming through here, as they just slammed their body into it. So, but they advanced over here. Both the flash kits and the mega knobs just moved, but you have to move. You can't move through the wall, so they had to move around the wall. And this actually is going to prevent one of his flash kits from getting line of sight because of true line of sight. Models in other units, including friendly ones, other friendly units, block line of sight. Not ones in your own unit, but only ones in any other unit. The War Boss advanced up the board over to here, and then over here, both these boy squads advanced. One of them opened the door, the other one kept the door closed. I think he doesn't want to make sure my Sacrosands can't come running at him or shooting at him or whatever it is. So that's where they're going to be. So that's going to be it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. So now we're going to start off the shooting phase here with his flash kits firing into my Sacrosands over here. He's going to fire, only 4 of them can draw line of sight without being interrupted by this guy. So this poor guy on the side over here is his big friend in the front there is blocking his way, and he's just probably
trying to get his gun over.
Yeah, he's probably poking him in the back and being like, "Get down, you stupid git! I've got to get my shots off," and it's not working.
My dog is more important
exactly,
than your shopping.
exactly. So everyone's trying to force their way through there, causing problem and mayhem. But
5s and 2s.
So it's going to be 5s and 2s, hitting on 5s because they moved with a heavy weapon there. So getting 2. And these are strength 6, so looking for 2s to wound. That's going to be 2 wounds there. AP -2, looking for 4-up saves. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on those. So 4-up saves. Making 1 and failing 1, so 2 damage, so it's just going to kill one of my sisters. All right, so now the Mega Knobs here are going to fire into those same sisters, looking for 5s to hit as well. Ooh, getting pretty good there.
That's a solid.
Yeah, not bad.
5 hits.
5 hits. That's more than average, so we'll take that. Strength 4. Strength 4, so 3's to wound there. Yep, so that's going to be 4 wounds. AP?
2 ups, no AP.
No AP, so 2 up armor saves. Failing one of them. I'm gonna spend a CP to reroll that. Which is good. It's also should note here, you start with 1 CP and you gain 1 at the beginning of each command phase, but you can only spend them on specific boarding action stratagems, which is basically reroll, heroically hold, so you basically pass a morale test, and then to interrupt. So those are the only 3 stratagems that there are in boarding action. You can't use any of the ones from your book. All right, movement phase for the sisters here on turn number 2. Over here, 1 Repentia squad advanced up and opened the door. The other squad of sisters advanced up behind them to get into position. Over here, the first squad of Sacristans moved up. The second squad advanced up to put themselves in the middle of this gap here to protect my sisters who've advanced onto the objective back over here. Then over on this side, the 1 squad of Battle Sisters advanced up and opened the door, and the Dominion squad just kind of moved up into position here so they can get some shots off through the open hatchways, which provide line of sight into that 1 squad of Orks over there. So that's going to be it for the movement phase. We are now going to move into the shooting phase. We'll just go straight into it. Essentially, that Dominion squad over there, I'm going to have, they're able to get line of sight, but they can only see 2 of the Ork boys in that squad over there. So you can only kill what you can see. So I can only kill those 2 Ork boys no matter how many I get from this shooting here. So we're going to have, these are going to be, they've got the Storm Bolters, and then 1 sister has the regular bolt, the Sergeant, the Sister Superior has a bolter, so we're going to do this Storm Bolters first. Hitting on 3s. Good start. Strength 4, so looking for 5s to wound. That is going to be just the 1. 1 second. All right, so it's damage to the Artificer here, but nope, not that. It will kill one of the boys.
It will kill.
There we go. And then the squad that just moved up is going to fire their bolt pistols into the Mega Knobs, because why not? Always roll your dice. Hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s. That's going to be 1 wound. 12 armor save. He's good to go. So into the charge phase, I'm actually going to use, they charged into here. I used, the reason you didn't see a roll is because I used 2 of my miracle dice to do so. I needed an 8-inch charge, and I used a 3 and a 6 and a 3. So they made the charge in over here. I am Order of the Bloody Rose, so they're going to have +1 attack and +1 AP to their attacks here. So they're going to have 12 attacks with the halberds into his Mega Knobs over here. So these are going to be hitting on 3s. Pretty good. Actually, really good. Wow, exceptionally good. I will take that. These are now going to be strength 6, so wounding on 3s. Also exceptionally good. Wow, okay. Making up for something, I guess. These are going to be 6, 7, 8, 9 wounds into you over here. These are going to be AP -4, so he's going to have 6 up saves from, because they have a 2-up armor. So he needs to make at least 1 to survive with 1 guy left. He makes exactly 1. So 1 guy's left with 1 wound remaining. And then the 1 guy left, who's got the 1 wound left, is going to attack back into me over here.
Hitting on 3s because the war boss.
Hitting on 3s because the war boss is over there.
So 3s and 2s.
3s and 2s.
I'm going to see
okay, I'm going to spend a CP on this one. Yep.
Meant to be a 2.
Not meant to be. And then 2s to wound. There's going to be 1 wound, AP -3, so they're going to have their 4-up invul save, which I'm going to spend a CP on to reroll. And I make it with a 4. All right, so that's going to be it for the Battle Sisters' turn here. We do have a leadership test to take with this guy. You're going to spend it and auto-pass it with his CP there to keep him around, because he does not want him dead, that's for sure. So that's going to be it for the Sisters' turn here. We'll come back to you after a movement phase for the Orks on turn number 3. Movement phase for the Orks here on turn number 3. Over here, the front boy squad advanced up here, staying outside of an inch of my Repentia, getting ready to fight me over here. These boys over here moved up onto the objective here and then are going to perform the action Secure Sight. Essentially, it will make it a sticky objective so he can move off of it and still control it until I control it normally for at least a phase. Back over here, he had to stay in combat because he can't fall back through a wall. And over here, he also doesn't want to run out because that's what he wants. He wants to be in combat. And over here, his war boss has kind of basically stayed where he is, getting ready to make the charge into the Sacrosands. And over here, they moved around a bit just to make sure they can all get some line of sight.
And to get down the board. To the war boss.
And to make room for the war boss who's screaming at them. And
chonky. Yeah,
when a big old chonky war boss yells at you, you move out of his way, that's for sure. And then over here, both of these squads have advanced up here, getting ready to make charges onto my two sisters' squads that are over on that side. So that's going to be it. That's going to be it for the movement phase, so we will come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, so into the shooting phase, the flash gits are going to fire into my Sacrosands over here. They can all draw a line of sight without being blocked there.
So he's going to move though, so 5.
Did move, so hitting on 5s. Getting 3 hits.
4 hits.
Oh, 4 hits. Couldn't see that one over there. There we go. And then 2s to wound. Oof. Okay, so it's going to be 2 wounds.
I'll CP one.
Going to spend a CP to reroll one of those. All right. Into 3. So it's going to be 3 wounds into me over here. These are going to be AP -2, so looking for 4-up saves. I am going to spend one of my miracle dice on a save there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to do. Spend a miracle dice, and then 2. No, just the 4 to make it, and then I will make the other 2. So they are good to go. Woo! All right, into the charge phase. Everything was basically the same. So this squad over here, we just did them ahead because it was like 1-inch charges, and you can't overwatch anymore now because I didn't set to overwatch with anyone. So over here, this squad charged into my Repentia squad. Over here, these 2 squads charged into the Repentia, or the Dominion squad and the half of the sister squad over there. And then over here, the war boss charged into my Sacrosanct squad. And they are all engaged over there. So we will now move on to the fight phase. Starting off the fight phase here, his boys over here are going to attack into my Repentia. So he is Goth, so they can have +1 strength because of the charge. He did declare the Wa, so that's why all those advancers could charge. Because he declared the Wa, he's also +1 strength and +1 attack. So here we go. These are going to now be hitting on 3s. All right, we'll come back to you with that. And there were 2 exploding 6s because of Goths. And then now he is going to be wounding on 2s now because of strength 6 with all of that. All right, we'll come back to you. All right, so it's 9 wounds into my Repentia over here. So they're going to have 9 6-up invul saves here. Making 3 of those, not bad. And then these are going to be 5-up feel no pains because of just being Repentia. That's what they do. Making 2 of those. So 4 will be dead, 1 will be alive. All right, so I'm going to spend my 2 CP to interrupt over here with the Sacrosands. We're going to have 2 going into the Mega Knob and then 2 going into the War Boss. So the 2 into the Mega Knob are going to be hitting on 3s. All right. I do get the extra attack because I was charged. These are now going to be wounding on 3s as well. That's going to be 4 wounds.
4 6-ups.
4 6-ups.
He's dead.
Okay, he will be dead.
Me too.
And then I've got 6 attacks going into the War Boss. Hitting on 3s.
He is T6.
He is T6, so these are going to be wounding on 4s. That's fine. Hit wound on 4s. That's going to be 4 wounds.
Yep.
He's got 2-up armor as well, right?
Yes. He's going to take those 4.
Okay, he's going to take 4 wounds into him there.
He's going to be...
And now we've got his War Boss over here, who's going to attack into me.
All right, we'll get 7 hits because of the explode.
The explosion there, yep, so it's going to be 7 hits. So he had 1 miss, but he has the exploding 6s here. And then 2s to wound. Re-rolling wounds because of his enhancement. So if you have... you have to choose a Warlord, and that Warlord then, if it's a character, gets a boarding enhancement that you can do. It's basically their version of like a warlord trait and a relic like rolled into one. So he's done a close combat dude bro, so he gets to reroll his close combat attacks. Close quarters expert, that's the word. So 1 miss there, so that's going to be 6. So we are... Yes, it's going to be 4 Binvol saves here. So I'm going to do all but 1 for now because I can do reroll. I can reroll if I want. I can do...
Do you have to use Miracle Dice before you roll?
Before I roll the dice. So that's why I'm going to hold off 1 to see if I can do that. So these are going to be looking for 4s. Failing 2 of them. I'm going to spend my 1 CP that I have left to reroll one of those into a save. So I failed 1, and then I'm going to spend a Miracle Dice on one of those to save the other one. So 1 will be dead. And then over on this side, the 4-boy squad is going to attack into my Dominions.
3s and 3s.
Hitting on 3s.
3s and...
Okay. So and there's 2 other misses, another miss there on that 2, but then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 explosions there.
That's convenient.
Which is everything that he missed with. These are now going to be wounding on 3s as well.
2s because strength 6.
Oh, wounding on 2s because they go up to strength 6 because of Goss. I forgot about that.
And
yes.
Wah.
And Wah and Goss. All right, you just got the 1 6 that's, or the 1 die over there. That's Cattywampus. Okay, not meant to be.
13.
That's still going to be 13 wounds coming into me over here.
AP1.
These are going to be AP1, so I'm going to be looking for 4-up saves on these ones. No, they're dead. Very dead. And then the other squad is going to attack into my Battle Sister squad over there.
The gold dice will be the Power Claw.
Gold dice are going to be the Power Claw. So again, hitting on...
3s and the Power Claw completely whiffed.
Okay, Power Claws were hitting on 4s, but the other ones are going to be hitting on 3s. Alrighty.
Gained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, okay.
So I actually hit 2 additional.
2 additional regular ones than what he started with, which is always fun to do. And these are going to again wounding on Orc math. That's how it works. No Power Claws, but extra other ones. And then wounding on 2s again because of being Goffs and it being that one. All right, 16 wounds into them. Again, looking for 4-up saves because of Choppa's being AP1. No, that's going to be enough to kill that squad. Ooh, just, but still.
Oh. Nice.
Did I reroll? Yeah. Oh, I did. No, I spent the CP. I did spend the CP. So yeah, there's nothing there. All right, so now my Repentia over here is going to attack back. She's going to have 3 attacks because of Bloody Rose and having been charged here. Hitting on 4s because of it being there. Re-rolling because of Zealot. Okay, they're really feeling it here. Yeah. That's going to be 3 6s. These are now going to be... Oh, that's... I forgot my passion that I have in place is going to be there. So that's going to be 3 additional hits. Okay, that worked out very well here. Wounding on 3s because it's strength times 2, so strength 6. T5. So that's still going to be 3. There we go, that worked out. So it's going to be 3 at AP minus 4 because of this. So 5 up involves because of Wah.
Wah!
Makes 1 of them. So 2 of them will be dead. Alrighty, so that's going to be the end of the Orcs' turn here. I did spend a Miracle Dice of a 2 to keep her around over here. But he does have to roll to see for them because they lost 2. So 2 plus 4 is 6, so they're good to go. So they're going to stick around over here. So again, that's going to be it for the Orcs' turn here on turn number 2. We will come back to you after movement phase for the Sisters on turn number 2. All right, movement phase for the Sisters here on turn number 3. Yes, 3. This Repentia squad moved up so that they're kind of close and looking to jump in on this fight over here. These Sacrosancts moved up the board towards this big old ball of fun over this side. These Sisters scooted around, and then they're going to be doing the action to secure sight, so making that a sticky objective for me. And these Sisters stayed in combat with the war boss over there. That and this Repentia's sister is going to stay in combat with those guys over there. So that's going to be it for the movement phase. We will come back to you with the shooting phase. And we're going to fire our bolt pistols here into those boys over there. So hitting on 3s. All right, getting 4 hits. Looking for 5s to wound. That's going to be 1 wound.
Looking for a 5 up.
5 up save.
Nope.
No, 1 guy will be dead. And then they're going to fire their pistols, because why not? Let's see if I can get stupid lucky here. Nope, he's not going to be dead. Not going to be wounded. All right, in the charge phase, there wasn't a lot of rolling here because these guys were basically in already over here. I did spend a miracle dice on their charge roll, spent one of my six that I had, and then rolled a 2, so they were into combat with the boss over here, the boss. So that is going to be it for the charge phase. We will come back to you with the fight phase. We're going to start out with my Sacrosanct over here into his war boss. I'm going to fight. I'm going to go in there. We've got 16 attacks in there because of Bloody Rose and having made the charge here. Hitting on 3s. Okay. Get out those 1s and 2s. But then we do have 3 6s in there from the for the passion that I've got there. These are now going to be, yeah, lots of passion going on here. Lots of passion. So these are now going to be strength 6, so looking for 4s to wound. Okay. Dokie. Oh, just the 3.
Can I make a single 5-up invul?
He's got 5-up invul saves because of the war.
I made 2.
Oh, it makes 2. So the war boss is still alive. And now my opponent's going to spend 2 CP to interrupt with his boys over here into my bigger squad of Repentia. Hitting on 3s. Okie dokie.
3 misses and
3 misses, so there we go. That works out perfectly with exploding 6s. Yeah, and then these are going to be looking for 3s to wound because they did not charge. Okie dokie.
3, 6, 8.
So there's going to be 8 wounds into those sisters over there. 6-up invul saves looking for here. Making 3 of those. And then 5-up feel no pains because of being Repentia. Making, only 1 of them. Oh my lord. Do I want to do that? Yes, I'm going to spend a, no, I'm not. They're just wiped over there. Yes. And now his war boss is going to attack into the big mob over here. Hitting on 2s, right? So that's all hits and an explosion. And then these are going to be wounding on 2s. Rerolling because of his ability. Rerolling. So that's going to be 8.
At -3.
8 at -3. So looking for, I got no more miracle dice that'll help me here. So he's going to be looking for 4-up saves because of their invuls. I'm going to spend my 1 CP to see if I can save one of them. Nope, I can't. So they are dead. And then the other squad of Sacrosancts is going to go, looking for 3s to hit. All right, not great. Wounding on 4s. That's not going to be any wounds there. Oof. And then the lone Repentia from the first squad over here is going to go, hitting on 4s. Does get a wound over there.
Makes the invul.
He does make the invul save, so he is good to go. All right, so that's going to be it for the sister's turn here. Not great. But we'll see what happens over here. The Orc boys do have to make a leadership test, but they're okay. They're good to go there. And then I do get 2 miracle dice, and that's going to be it. So we will come back to you after movement phase for the Orcs here on turn number 4. All right, movement phase for the Orcs here on turn number 4. These boys stayed in combat with the Repentia. These boys, after finishing securing the site over here, are now making their way up here towards my Sacrosancts. The war boss stayed in combat with me over there. Did you want, they set to Overwatch just because why not? That's what they were doing. They're kind of stuck there. They can't secure the site because you need to have the OBSEC ruled in order to do so. Over here, this squad of boys is making its way around this way.
Looking on the Sacrosancts.
Maybe looking on the Sacrosancts, they get a good charge off there. And then these boys moved up, advanced up over here and then opened the door.
Well, very cleverly hiding.
Trying to hide as much as they could behind the bulkhead to keep themselves from being totally wiped to shooting. So we'll see if it works out for them.
I got that Repentia there.
And that's going to be it for that. So we'll come back to you with the shooting phase. Slugga's into the Repentia over here. Hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 5s.
Oh, hitting on 5s. Okay, so nothing there. All right, so now into the charge phase. This squad over here needs a 5-inch charge to get into the Sacrosancts. Ooh,
here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The one needs the reroll. Oh, Justin. Whew. I saw the other one before I saw the 4, and I was like, ooh. But no, they're going to be in over there. And then this squad over there needs a 7-inch charge to get in, but they'll be in there. Sounds good. All right, so now over here, he's going to start with his squad with the Power Claw in there. Power Claw's going to be gold. They're going to be hitting on 3s. Everyone else is going to be hitting on 2s because of the War Boss being over there. Come back to you with that.
Or invulnerable.
All right, so now they are going to had a bunch of hits there. These are going to be all wounding on 2s, right? Oh no.
No.
Did it?
Yes.
No, because
yes,
the second round of
it's still +1 strength.
It's still +1 strength attack on the wall there, and turn 2 of wall.
Yeah,
all right, so here we go. Looking for 2s on everything. We'll come back to that.
Going to hold this up.
All right, so we got 10 -1s. Yeah, so they did have the balance status shape. It is on the round 2 of the WA that they get the +1 strength and attack. These are looking for AP -1, so looking for 3-up saves on these sisters against the Chappas there. Failing 3. Oh no, there's nothing I can do to really save them because they've got a lot more attacks coming in there, so they will be dead. And then my Repentia over here is going to go hitting on 4s, getting 2 4s and an explosion there.
This could do it.
This could do it. Looking for 3s to wound. Getting all 3 wounds.
6-up invuls.
They got 6-up invuls now. No! And she single-handedly wipes them, so they are dead. Woo! But of import to note is that pile in and consolidate now in boarding action, you have to be able to get within engagement range of an enemy model, of a visible enemy model. So right now, I can't move there, so she's just going to stay right there. And it's the same thing for these boys. They can't do it either, so they're just stuck standing where they are too, right over there. So that's going to be... It's pretty interesting change. We'll have to see how it makes a difference, if it makes a difference. So that's going to be it for the Orcs turn here. We'll come back to you after movement phase for the sisters here on turn number 4. All right, movement phase for the sisters here on turn 4. I got my sister Repentia has moved up the board over here. My battle sisters finished securing that side over there, and I've moved up the board this way, getting closer to these orcs over here, and that's it. That's all I got left. So we are going to now move into the shooting phase. All right, so the battle sisters over here made eye contact with the Repentia as she starts moving up this way, and she indicates to the orc squad here getting between her and the orc war boss, and they call for aid, and the sisters open up fire into the squad of boys over here. We've got the bolters firing in, hitting on 3s.
So cinematic.
Super cinematic. Wounding on 5s. We've got 2 wounds here. 6 ups. Oh! Makes a bow! And then we... Oh! And then we've got this, the storm bolter here. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 5s. Oh, just the one. Oh, and it goes through, killing one of them over here. Into the charge phase. I'm going to use 2 6s that I have for Miracle Dice, and she is going to charge into both the boys and the war boss there, going around this section there. 12 inches, getting her into combat with both of them. She is going to take down this war boss. All right, so the sister Repentia technically charges into the boys here too, but she's only got eyes for the war boss. And here comes her attacks. 3 attacks in over here because she did charge in as the Order of the Bloody Rose here, hitting on 4s. As she pulls it around, getting 2 hits. Here we go. T6, strength 6. 4s. Looking for 4s to wound.
You do better than the Sacrosants.
All right, I'm going to spend a CP to re-roll this.
Do it.
Oh, there's the 2 are through here.
What's the AP?
AP 4. So
5 up invuls.
6 up, right? Because the second round. Oh, he's got 5 up base. Okay, here we go. No, but wait, is it 2 damage? I think it's 2 damage. I think it's 2 damage. One second. It is 2 damage. Yeah, she takes him down. As all of the boys then give her the eyes of "I'm gonna kill you," and swarm in over here. And now the boys are gonna attack in. First, we're gonna go with the knob with the big choppa because he wants the huge choppa. Oh man, he's gonna get 5 hits with 5 hits on 4 dice. He's really mad at her. He wants to become the next war boss here. Hit wounded on 2s. That's gonna be 3 wounds. 3 6-up invul saves. Oh, she makes one of them. 2 damage apiece. 5 up invul. 5 up feel no pains. Oh, I just saw the first 2. I did not see those ones. She is dead. But with that, she goes down. The knob picks up the huge choppa, of the former war boss, stands on his chest and says, "I'm the boss now." The sisters fall back, knowing that their only chance is to regroup with the rest of the boarding things. And as the other orcs come here, fight their way back over this way to regroup and figure out a new strategy to get these orcs off the base, off of the ship, with their brand new war boss that is just taking control. Oh man, that was a ton of fun. The points at this point, I know there's one more battle round to go, but my opponent's beating me horribly. There's nothing to do. Yeah, 25 to 15 without doing the kill points, and I've got the one squad left that he's probably going to kill. So that's going to be it for for that one. But man, it was a ton of fun. Super quick, super fast. Just like with the units going through, it really felt cinematic and a ton of fun. So an awesome time. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. My opponent has been Harrison. Until next time, stay safe and have fun.